Welcome to this WBZ News special presentation of the Massachusetts Republican U.S. Senate primary debate. One of these three candidates will be the GOP nominee against incumbent Senator Elizabeth Warren. In alphabetical order, they are Robert Antonellis, a businessman and industrial engineer; Ian Kane, an entrepreneur and president of the Quincy City Council; and John Deaton, a lawyer and former special assistant U.S. attorney. Now, a quick disclosure here. An adult member of my family works for a political action committee that is supporting Mr. Deaton's campaign. Gentlemen, thank you for being here. Our rules are pretty simple. Each candidate will have up to a minute to respond to the same question, followed by open periods of debate. So let's get started. We'll start with you, Mr. Antonellis, on this first one.
Okay.
So, there seems to be some dispute in this race over what a real Republican is. So let's start there. What's the difference between a real Republican and a rhino Republican in name only? 1 minute, sir.
Well, I think in this particular case, the big differentiating litmus test is whether someone supports the head of the ticket, which is why I'm wearing this hat. Donald Trump, I'm the one on the stage here who plans to vote for Donald Trump in November, and he's the head of the ticket. And so when you hear any of us talking about any of the items that you can directly connect to America First, and I think a lot of your listeners know what that would be: crime, border, inflation, fentanyl, the attack on womanhood. You know that when a real Republican is doing it, and it's me, that I will be supporting Donald Trump. My other two opponents here will not support Donald Trump, so it makes me call into question everything that they state as their particular issues that are hot-button issues with Republicans.
Thank you, Mr. Antonellis. Mr. Kane.
Thank you, John. Thanks for having me today. Yeah, I think the way that I look at this is that we're currently in the state of Massachusetts where uniparty control is off the reservation, so to speak. We have most of the legislative seats in the state House that are controlled by the Democrats, all the constitutional offices, and all of the federal seats in Massachusetts. I start my life as a Republican at 18, and I've been an unenrolled voter, I've been a Democratic voter, and now I'm back to Republican because people are looking for fundamentals and values to get Massachusetts back on track. So for me, this is about pro-growth. This is about getting back to respect and rule of law. This is back to smaller government. And these are all things that Elizabeth Warren is derelict of her duty in representing the Commonwealth in trying to get us back to a place of pragmatism and practicality.
Thank you, Mr. Kane. Mr. Deaton, 1 minute.
Thank you, John. You know, listen, people ask, are you a Donald Trump Republican, John, or are you a Charlie Baker Republican? And my answer is always, I'm a John Deaton Republican. And it's unfortunate we've become in this world where there's labels, MAGA versus Rhino. Listen, when I get to the United States Senate, I'm going to have one test, and that is it good for Massachusetts and America? If it is, I'm all in. It doesn't matter who the president is. And that's what's going to separate me from the candidates on this stage, and especially Elizabeth Warren. I will have one loyalty, the same oath that I took as a United States Marine Corps officer and served my country for 7 years of active duty. And when I was a special assistant United States attorney, a federal prosecutor, the oath to honor the Constitution. I will have loyalty to Massachusetts voters, not a party, not a person, and that's what separates me.
All right, gentlemen, thanks. Any further rebuttal or comment on this? Go ahead, Mr. Antonellis.
Yes, my question for the both is, when you have such an important issue as the border collapse, and you have someone running for president who, you know, the border czar who created this open border, how can you not vote against her? You're voting, as you both have said, not for Trump, but not for Democrat, and not even for Kennedy in the independent.
All right, let's get responses. Go ahead.
The one thing I'll say is, you know, I do respect John's service in the military for our country, but I find it very fascinating that a person who has never voted in Massachusetts and has only voted 3 times in their voting history in Rhode Island can stand up here and represent that they're going to actually participate in public service. Voting is the baseline to active involvement in public service. And I find it almost comedic that somebody will be voting for the 4th time since 2004 in a race for themselves.
Rebuttal.
Sure. Listen, I grew up in extreme poverty, and let me tell you something. People don't understand poverty. They don't understand people in poverty. My mother never voted because when you're in extreme poverty like I was, it doesn't matter. If people think there's a difference for poor people between George W. Bush and Barack Obama, they don't know poor people and they don't understand poverty. And so, yes, my voting record is imperfect, but let me tell you something. I got in this race to inspire people like me, people who were poor, growing up in poverty, growing up in impoverished circumstances, and I want to inspire them, and I think I'm going to do that.
Anything further on this, or I'm going to move on?
Well, one last thing. There is something in his book that is shocking. It exposes a weakness to him being the candidate. And he was not in extreme poverty when he went back to Detroit and had this weird, bizarre, cut his own arm open and blame it on his sister, get her put in jail. He was not living in extreme poverty. He was sucked back into the hood as a chief prosecutor. And that part, I think he really needs to answer about whether he defrauded the United States military with that action.
Equal time.
Sure. Listen, I was the chief law enforcement for Marine Corps Air Station Yuma, Arizona. I was actually fighting drug infiltration where the cartels were using young Marines to transport drugs and people across the border. I'm the only one on stage that has that experience. But listen, I said I come from poverty. I wrote a book, and I am an open book, and my sister, who was OD'd twice, John, on heroin. She was brought back to life. She had robbed my mother. I talk about this extensively, and I was faced with a choice to lose my mother and possibly my sister, or commit an act of actual love, and that's what I did. It's extensively in my book, and I'm actually proud of sharing that story with people because it's helped people who are battling drugs and poverty.
Anything further? Briefly, I do want to move on. All right, let's do that. Mr. Antonellis, you mentioned the border. Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
The bipartisan budget deal that was on the table in Congress last winter included billions for detention, border wall spending, millions to fight fentanyl trafficking, tougher standards for asylum, automatic shutdowns of the border if illegal crossings exceeded certain limits, expansion of work permits, and funding to help state and local governments handle the migrant influx. It died at the hands of Senate Republicans who were urged by former President Trump to kill the bill. We'll start with you, Mr. Kaine. If you had been in the Senate, would you have supported bringing it to a vote, and would you have voted for or against it? 1 minute, sir.
I would not have supported this bill in the way that it was presented. This is a Chuck Schumer progressive open border bill that John Deaton would have supported. And, you know, this didn't get to the heart of the matter. I know at the time we heard from the governor of Massachusetts that we were looking for funding to come to Massachusetts, and Elizabeth Warren passed on this opportunity to support the bill, but it doesn't get to the heart of the matter. If you talk to voters across Massachusetts, irrespective of their party affiliation, illegal immigration is the #1 issue on their minds. People are looking for, again, a sensible solution to closing the border, adjudicating the backlog of illegal immigrants that have arrived here to this country, ending the catch and release program, and then figuring out how to get back to a normal legal immigration pathway for people that want to come here the right way.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Deaton, 1 minute.
Yeah, John, I actually went to the border. When they took that rec center from the poor kids in Roxbury, someplace I lived my first year of law school here in Boston, at New England School of Law, it hit at home. And I went to the border, and what I learned is shocking. 50% of the fentanyl entering Massachusetts is coming from the Yuma crossing. They're giving asylum court dates of 2032 and 2033, 8-9 years from now. 12 million people have crossed when you count getaways. So even if you assume 99% are good people who just want a better life, something I can identify with, even if 1%'s bad, that's 120,000 people. It's a national security crisis. So I would have voted for that bill because it stopped the bleeding. It's not a perfect bill. And just so you know, John, it goes to that first question you asked. James Lankford was voted #2 most conservative United States senator, and he wrote that bill. It's not perfect, but you have to stop the bleeding. And that's what I mean by loyalty. Loyalty to the Constitution and the country, not a person, not a party.
Thank you. Mr. Antonellis, 1 minute.
I would have voted against it. It was a red herring. No wonder John supports it. Donald Trump was against it. It could be solved with a phone call from the White House. In other words, all the executive orders that Biden signed mere moments after taking the pen in the White House, January 20th, he unraveled that border, and Donald Trump could fix it immediately. Joe Biden could have fixed it immediately, long before there were even discussions about what that bill would contain. So I'm against that bill, and I believe that it's another reason to question my two opponents and their lack of support for Trump, because this is exactly the kind of solution that Trump has. Quick, fast, fix the bleeding now.
Thank you. Anything further on rebuttal?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, we put out from the campaign a couple of weeks ago our position on what we would do if we're fortunate to be elected to the U.S. Senate. And the first thing that we would do is make sure that states, cities, and towns across the country can't designate themselves with sanctuary status. As people very well know, we're in this position that we are in Massachusetts, which is enduring financial and physical burden here because of the right to shelter law. And people are looking for partnership from the federal level that can work with our state and local leaders in order to improve this situation.
All right.
We don't need performative politics like Elizabeth Warren. We don't need, the highlight reels of people going down to the border. The border is here now in Massachusetts, and people can see it in their face.
Rebuttal.
Yeah, listen, I think it says a lot that my two opponents on this stage actually shared the same position as Senator Elizabeth Warren, and that is to do nothing and to not vote for it. You have to stop the bleeding. The immigration issue here in Massachusetts is taxing our infrastructure, our hotels, our urgent cares, our schools. We have to do something about it, and that bill would have stopped the bleeding and secured the border. And then you can go back, John, and improve it after that. But when you go to the hospital, they triage. The first thing you do is stop the bleeding.
Yep. Go ahead, then I'm going to move on.
That's correct. Stop the bleeding, and that's exactly what an executive order is meant to do, and that is do something. So your red herring is actually do nothing, spending a lot of money. And how many transgender bathrooms are in that bill too? We don't even know. They put all kinds of stuff into these bills, and an executive order would have solved that problem immediately.
All right, gentlemen, I do want... all right, go ahead, please,
I was
briefly.
going to say, I'm the only person on this stage who's actually worked with border security, FBI, Naval Criminal Investigative Service, fighting border control issues. And if they had that kind of experience, they would understand the urgency of the situation.
All right, I'm going to move on, gentlemen, okay? Don't forget, you can go back to anything that's being discussed here as the debate unfolds. Let's squeeze in one more question before we take our break. And you'll start first here, Mr. Deaton. Incumbent senators rarely lose in Massachusetts. The last time it happened was 46 years ago. I was only 5 at the time. And if you buy that, well, let's talk later about some bridge work. What do you offer the people of Massachusetts, if you're elected, that Elizabeth Warren does not? 1 minute, Mr. Kane.
Sure,
Mr. Deaton, rather, sorry.
There's a lot of difference between me and Senator Warren. And let's just remember, she took third when she ran for president here. She has a 41% approval rating. In 12 years, John, as primary sponsor, she's only passed 1 bill. Anyone else in Massachusetts with that kind of record would be fired, and that's what I'm asking. But the ultimate difference is approach. Senator Warren is great at fighting against things and against people and against issues. That's not the same as fighting for people. For example, she's great at fighting against the rich and the wealthy. That is not the same as fighting for the poor and the middle class. I want to uplift people. I want to bring people up, expand middle class, bring people out of poverty like I brought myself out of poverty. I think an uplifting approach, I can do that without tearing people down. The identity politics, the class warfare, the division has got to end, and she is the queen of finger-pointing politics.
Thank you.
Change that.
Mr. Antonellis, 1 minute.
Yes, Elizabeth Warren has her fingerprint on every single horrible law, deed, everything coming from the White House. And so she is very complicit in the destruction of our society that we're all living through today. So whether it's the border collapse, whether it's crime, whether it's inflation, whether it's the attack on womanhood, or even the attack on our environment, as we can now see through the Green New Deal, which my partners and Ian will talk about, that Politico link that reveals that you did support the Green New Deal, but we know John does.
That's
the
not
destruction
true.
of our coastline and roadways through the Green New Deal, and a lot of other things that she has been absolutely directly involved with.
Thank you. Mr. Kane, 1 minute.
Thank you. Yep, I'm the only Massachusetts native in this entire race, whether in the primary or the final election. There is a distinction there that needs to be drawn because Elizabeth Warren is a particular person that has no interest in representing Massachusetts. When she was first elected in 2012, she immediately focused on running for president of the United States. And since then, she's settled on the U.S. Senate. She has been one of the most divisive members of the U.S. Senate since her time there. She is actually not only part of the reason that Washington is frozen, but she's part of the reason why we're deeply divided. She uses her partisanship and her extreme partisanship to divide people. She pits people against identity. She pits classes against each other. What I'm here to represent is not only being a person that comes from the grassroots that has represented, I'm the only person that's been elected. I've been elected 5 times to the Quincy City Council, who understands grassroots issues, who understands how to represent people, and who can give a youthful, energetic, innovative vision for people for the future.
Thank you very much, Sean. We do need to break, but go ahead, take 15 seconds if you want.
I was just going to say that I want the Massachusetts voters to look at my Massachusetts credentials. I was chosen by the Marine Corps to represent the entire Commonwealth for the '94 Judge Abbott law contract. For 22 years, I've been a lawyer here representing victims of asbestos exposure against insurance companies and corporations. Elizabeth Warren, she represented Travelers Insurance in asbestos litigation, trying to help asbestos victims. I've helped the actual asbestos victims.
Equal time, gentlemen, if you want it. Go ahead, briefly,
Yes,
please.
Washington, D.C. is broken today because of lawyers, lobbyists, politicians, and Elizabeth Warren. And what Washington, D.C. needs and Massachusetts needs today is an engineer. I learned how to fix what's broken.
All right, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I'll say 2 quick things. You know, this role is about constituent service, and anecdotally talking to voters across the state, I've learned that Elizabeth Warren's office is derelict in their duties of performing that, and you'd be shocked by some of the stories that I've heard. And also, I appreciate the clarification of Massachusetts credentials, but again, I'm going to go back to, if you don't vote, you're not participating in any of this activity.
Okay.
And so it's a very important thing that you are actually registered to vote, you vote for candidates, and not just 3 times in general elections since 2004.
Welcome back to this special WBZ News presentation of the Massachusetts Republican U.S. Senate primary debate. And let's resume our questioning. Mr. Antonellis, we're going to start with you on this one. The Massachusetts GOP has been through a lot of turmoil. The current party chair, Amy Carnevale, is up for re-election by the state committee this coming January when the new Senate term begins. Would you back her for another term? 1 minute, please.
I would choose to back others that are associated with Brad Wyatt. It's a different group of people that are not connected to the Charlie Baker wing of the party. I would be inclined to vote with the side of the party that is Trump-centric. I'm America First. And I haven't had a chance yet to talk about what Massachusetts First looks like. That's about ending Massachusetts as an effective sanctuary state, and it's also about banning all offshore wind farms throughout U.S. territorial waters, cleaning up those blades, take them down, just simply remove the blades before they're destroyed. But so as far as the state committee, I would tend to, and I haven't seen candidates, so it's hard to say what you would do, but I would tend to be on a different side of that GOP today.
Thank you. Mr. Kane, 1 minute.
Thank you, John. I'm coming into the Mass GOP pretty fresh and am untainted by, I guess, the turf warfare that has taken place over the last 8 years or so, which is refreshing for me because I get to take a look at the landscape and understand what's working and what's not, and to try to identify ways that the party can be improved or the party can be more of a viable option here in Massachusetts. And these are the conversations that I'm having with people all over the state. I mean, most of the room, first of all, Massachusetts Republican Party is a small percentage of the electorate. You're really looking at 64% of the independent or unenrolled electorate, but about 9 or 10% of the Republican Party. And therein lies an opportunity for growth because, as I've said from the outset, people are looking for common sense, pragmatism, practicality, and a return to fundamental values that can represent our interest not only to the federal government, but put our Commonwealth of Massachusetts back on the right track.
Thank you. Mr. Deaton, 1 minute.
Yeah, listen, there has been turmoil, John, in the Republican Party. I have a cure for that. But as far as your direct question on Amy Carnevale, the answer is I don't know who's running against Amy. So I could never tell you how I'm going to vote. I can tell you this, whoever it is that I vote for to be the chair of the Massachusetts GOP is going to have to earn my vote. It's that loyalty test I told you. I'm not loyal to a person or a party or an agenda. I'm loyal to America. And, you know, let me tell you something. There's a saying, which is pay attention to what they do, not what they say. I'm the only candidate on this stage, John, that has a victory fund that helps Republican down-ballot candidates get elected. I'm out there trying to raise money, not just for my campaign, but for people running the state legislature so that we do something about this one-party rule. I'm the only one doing that.
Rebuttal. Go ahead. We'll start with you.
Yeah, money speaks very loudly. This is a business. That's another thing that I've learned very deliberately is that the party is probably as successful as the money that flows through it. So when a person like John Deaton crosses the border from Rhode Island and decides that he's going to run for Massachusetts U.S. Senate seat and he says he's going to put money in, they say right this way because there are people to be paid. And so when you come out from the outset and you try to set these things up, you try to find consultants and campaign managers. There's no talent because there's no money flowing through the Republican Party. That's why John Deaton is useful to the party today. It's because of money.
Mr. Antonellis, go ahead, and we'll get you a chance to rebut.
I did not set up a joint finance agreement with the Mass GOP because I didn't know there one existed. I found out 2 days ago that one existed, and apparently it was whispered at some meeting somewhere, and I didn't hear it. So I think this was a major shortfall of the Mass GOP to keep this. Of course, I would have said, yeah, joint finance agreement, so I can have events like John Deaton has had. I didn't have that opportunity, so now I have a financial problem that is caused by this methodology.
Go ahead, briefly, please.
Well, you hear a lot of comments about technical residence. I live in Bolton with my partner, Christy, my 5-year-old daughter, Layla, my stepdaughter, Mackenzie. And let me tell you something. I've been a lawyer here for 22 years representing the working family. And we're in the Republican primary. And I've been a resident of Massachusetts longer than Mr. Kane's been a Republican.
If there's nothing further, I'm going to move on. Thank you.
There is
All right,
further.
go ahead. Briefly, please, sir.
I don't know how long you've even lived here, but I know that you've lived in Barrington, Rhode Island, which is where you sued local police officers because you were arrested by them in 2017. On the ballot, you will see, is represented your address in Swansea, Massachusetts. So this is the first that anyone, I think, in the public knows that you live in Bolton, which sounds very, I guess, conclusive about where you actually live.
Go ahead.
Well, listen, again, I wrote extensively in my memoir my life experiences, which included being arrested, because in a small town, the police department had an arrest or incentive program. They were telling cops, the more you arrest people, the more time you get off, the more citations you get. And as a lawyer for 22 years and as a former chief law enforcement for an entire base in the Marine Corps, I stood up to them. And we've learned that sometimes most cops are good, but sometimes they make bad decisions. And I'm proud of what I did.
Go ahead, and then we'll get you in. Don't worry. Go ahead.
Yeah, proud of suing local police officers for doing their job is not very impressive. And then also furthermore stating that you make more than, or you pay more in taxes than their salary. And there was more. You can Google this. It's very apparent. But that's that's despicable to be treating local law enforcement, claiming that you support law enforcement, but then suing local law enforcement.
Go ahead.
Most cops are on my side. You're going to hear some news real soon about that. But listen, I'm an open book. I wrote about it. It's unconstitutional to have an incentive program to arrest people without proper investigation, and that's what I did, and I'm standing up to it. And guess what? They changed their policies because of what I did. That's what I'll do. I'll stand up to any bully or any injustice, whether it's politically convenient or inconvenient to me.
If you're done, I want to give him a last chance. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, back on that border issue and the border bill, it's a disaster. And having you not supporting Trump and not calling on Joe Biden to use his executive office to basically shut the border, it would have been nice to have you use your effort for that.
Do you want to respond? Just super
support
fast,
the United
please.
States Constitution. I took that oath as a Marine Corps officer. I'll take it again as a senator. My loyalty will be to you out there, not to a person, not to a party, not to an agenda. I think that's what we actually need.
Equal time, short,
Yeah,
please.
if we're talking about the Constitution and representing it, I'm the only currently representative who is under oath representing the Constitution for people, Americans.
All right, we probably have time for just one more question, so I want to get this in here, and you'll go first, Mr. Kane. If you're elected, what committee assignment would you seek, and what would you hope to do there that would benefit the people of Massachusetts? 1 minute, please.
Sure. So the first two committees that I would be seeking to join are the Foreign Affairs and Energy. Foreign Affairs and Energy, both connected to my professional past. I worked in the energy business for a number of years. We acquired and developed power plant assets in the Middle East, North Africa, and East Asia. So I come with not only a sensibility for relationships within foreign jurisdictions, but with an idea of how we can apply certain energy vision for the United States, which I think we've been off base. Bob made mention earlier that I've supported the Green New Deal. I don't know where or how or when I would have supported such a thing, but that's not true. And I'm a person that is certainly looking for replacing and providing the needs for baseload power generation in the United States. I mean, here in Massachusetts alone, we don't have what we need. We've got a fragile transmission system. We have decommissioned nuclear power plants, and that's a place that I want to provide us with more.
Thank you, Mr. Deaton.
Sure.
1 minute.
I'm asked to be on 3 committees, John. Veteran Services, because the way we treat our veterans is a disgrace in this country. The way they're being treated in this state is a disgrace. I'm a veteran. I want to do something about it. I want to go to the Ethics Committee because I actually sued the United States government in my private capacity. I did it pro bono. 75,000 individuals, including 627 here in Massachusetts, joined me, and we won, and we exposed all kinds of conflicts of interest in our government. So we need to reinstitute ethics. And finally, I would go on the Banking Committee, and I think that epitomizes Senator Warren. 13 years ago, John, and to everyone out there, you'll remember she was outraged that no banker went to prison from the financial crisis. She was going to go to Washington, D.C. and hold those bankers accountable. Guess what? A decade later, who do you think wrote her last bill? The bankers. She couldn't beat them. She joined them. That's the epitome of what happens in Washington, D.C., and it's why we need term limits.
Thank you. Mr. Antonellis, 1 minute.
I would like to actually form a new committee for investigations into government crimes in the past. Some famous ones that we know of. Martin Luther King Jr., James Earl Ray was not even in Memphis at the time of the shooting. People don't know this. This is news to them. They're saying, what? We always were told that. The limousine that John F. Kennedy was driving needed to be sent out to Detroit to get a new windshield because why? There was a bullet hole in the windshield. The government, and now we see Donald Trump and the Russia hoax, and now we see this assassination attempt, which is starting to look like that it was a bigger operation than we even understand, and we'll let that play out. But the government has been our enemy for a lot longer than people realize, and I would like to get to the bottom of it because there's a lot of people, a lot of evidence that we can use right now to solve these age-old problems.
All right, thank you very much. Just have a brief period here for further comment.
Well, listen, you have people talking about being a career politician, and I think we've had enough of that. Mr. Kane has been a career politician. In fact, he gave the mayor of Quincy, his friend, Mayor Koch, who actually endorsed Ian Kane, the highest raise, making him the highest paid Quincy mayor in America, while at the same time it's not deserving because Quincy is the only city in this Commonwealth that's actually had opiate deaths go skyrocket versus other towns. Maybe that money could have went to those people.
Equal time.
That's rich. I think, I'm just going to go to the top of this. Out of the candidates that are standing up here, 2 of them have credibility problems. I've been a part-time elected city council. I've served in office for 9 years. I've heard Bob Antonellis talk more about 9/11, JFK, and the deep state and conspiracy theories. And we've got a credibility problem with John Deaton, who not only in his book outlines that he's admitted to statutory rape, heavy cocaine use, and a potential murder that he has not repudiated. and he's also a non-voting police suing person.
Okay.
These are not the right two candidates to represent.
Thank you, but I'm going to give him just a few seconds because that was a fresh
I'm the only candidate that's been a Marine Corps officer. The only candidate that's been Special Assistant United States Attorney. I was awarded meritorious service until my first tour of duty, which can only be issued by the Commander-in-Chief. I'll take that credibility any day.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. Good job by all of you. Thank you very much for being here. I've got to wrap it up. Thank you. That concludes this special WBZ News presentation. For those of you watching on WBZ-TV, be advised, you can watch the entire half-hour debate streaming on CBS News Boston or on demand at WBZ-TV.com. And a reminder, early voting has already begun, but you have until August 24th to register to vote, and the vote-by-mail application deadline is August 26th. Primary day is Tuesday, September 3rd. So please get out and vote, then watch your vote count with complete WBZ News coverage of the 2024 elections. For all of us here at WBZ, I'm John Keller. Thanks for watching.